Welcome back to another Upshaw Unfiltered. I am Andrew Upshaw. I'm the host of this just bad podcast. It's just a bad one altogether. But here we are today. We have a new guest. Last week we had Trey McKinney, young upcoming angler, obviously very accomplished already. This week we have a really old guy. I'm going to call him the old guy in the room. John Cox is his name. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's so old school, like so old that you might not know who he is. John's a really good friend of mine from way back. I'm definitely a huge John Cox fan. The way he, attacks shallow water and just fishing in general. He's definitely one of my favorite people that there are out there. But he is at this point considered an old man. So welcome to the stage, John Cox.
Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I've never had that introduction before. Andrew, aren't we the same age?
No, I don't think so. I think you're at least 8 to 12 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
Actually, my birthday's coming up next month, and my wife was asking what I wanted. I said, I don't know. I'm like 29 for the
Yeah,
eighth time. So,
yeah,
but
yeah.
as an angler, you're probably one of the more seasoned, seeing that you are a multi trail, a multi-event angler. I mean, you go from, I know there was years where you were doing Bass Pro Tour, or whether it be the Elite Series, National Professional Trail. I mean, you do little bit of everything. You also do some redfish stuff. I mean, you're kind of like a jack of all trades when it comes to fishing. I mean, that's just like you eat, breathe, and sleep it. I mean, and there's a lot of guys that say that, but you actually are that.
Yeah, I mean, the last few years have been nuts. I mean, I don't. It started off, not wanting to miss any of the tournaments because so many of them go to places where I thought I'd have a really good shot to do really well. And I mean, I would have to say probably in the last 5 years, 6 years, I've fished more in that 6 years tournaments than some people would fish in their entire career. I mean, it was bouncing from one to the next, and uh, man, it was it's a lot of fun. I don't know. I'm very addicted to it, I guess, and I I don't know. I'm trying to slow down a little bit, but with so many trails now, so many good lakes, it's hard to pass up going to some of them.
So, with that being said, I mean, you're obviously somebody that is well traveled. You've been to most bodies of water at this point, I would say. Um, I know next year you're fishing the Elite Series and the NPFL, right? That's
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Have you ever been to Lake George in New York? I mean, that I feel like it's a big curveball, a
Yeah.
little bit at least.
Yeah. So Lake George, when we first started, I think Nan was like one or two, and Keith, we would go up and do the whole New York swing, doing the opens, and
Mhm.
I think it was the Ever Starts then and stuff, and trying to learn the lake because Champlain was such a big lake,
Right.
and in a lot of that, we would stay down there on George some and fish some,
Really.
but mostly it was with a with the thing in the back of the boat with the kids in it,
Like tubing and
tube,
stuff.
yeah, tubing, and and they were real little then, so we were doing a lot of trolling and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And place seems like it was full of fish back then, but we're talking 14 years ago, 13 years ago, so it's been a really long time. I've never caught a largemouth bass in there, but there's supposed to be some in there, so it'll be
Well, when
neat.
I looked at it on the map and I saw it was just downstream from Ticonderoga, which is
Yeah,
the whole section of Champlain, all I could think of is like, oh, this place is gonna have them.
yeah,
Like, just because I know how good Ty is, and or at
yeah,
least how good Ty used to be
yeah.
back in the day. I haven't been there. The only reason I say used to be is because I haven't been there in a long time.
Right.
But I mean, it is definitely Champlain is definitely one of those special places. But
Hmm.
I always find it interesting to ask somebody, especially like you, that has fished so many trails, so many different bodies of water, like trying to find a place that maybe you haven't gone to. But
Hmm.
I feel like at this point in your career, that's a pretty tall task, I would say.
Well, I mean, so yeah, our problem is well, my family's problem when we take vacations or in between tournaments. I mean, we are searching for somewhere we haven't been to go fish or try or stay at an Airbnb at. So
Hmm.
we and that's like one of my favorite things to do is when we find a place on the map. We're like, hey, let's go stay there for a couple days, go fish some new water, and you know, that's kind of what we do for fun, kind of.
So let me ask you this. I mean, seeing somebody that does fish a lot as much as you do, have you gone out to Clear Lake, the Delta, any of those yet?
No, I've been dying to go out there. So the farthest west I've been is I think when we went to Oahe that one time.
Hmm.
We went out to South Dakota and stuff, and I stayed the whole week before. And we did like the Custard State Park with the buffaloes, and
Oh,
went
that's
to Mount
awesome.
Rushmore, and we just went to a lot of cool stuff out there that I would have never got to see. And I did terrible in the tournament. Didn't get a check, and it was a very expensive trip, but it was probably one of our better trips we've been on.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm just gonna forewarn you: do not go to Clear Lake. If you, I know you grew up in Florida and the fishing's amazing down there, but like that place is next level as far as just numbers of fish, really good ones, and everywhere, and doing every single thing you want to go do. So it's
Really,
probably one of the more addicting places I've ever been in my entire life, and
really,
probably easily one of the most beautiful too.
really.
But yeah, I just think it's really, really interesting when you start talking about fishing tournaments and where you've been. So plans for next year obviously include the MPFL, the Elite Series. Is there a location on either one of those trails that you're really, really excited about? Is there a location that you're not excited about, like that just doesn't fit John
Yeah.
Cox? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, I mean, none of them were really like, oh man, I don't really, that one's going to be
Mhm.
one I don't want to go to. Because I mean, usually I try to find the good in whatever ones we're going. Like, even if it's one that where I'm like, man, I'm going to struggle here, or not. And sometimes some of those harder ones, are better. Then it's kind of like we go to like Columbus Pool, Mississippi for the elites. We don't. No one really knows anything about it.
Right.
I fished back there like when I was in my 20s or whatever, um, but that one could be a pretty tough tournament, I think,
Mhm.
for the most part. And and so if you find something or figure out something a little special, you could really excel at that one. So, some of those tougher tournaments are a little more exciting. I feel like because a lot of us don't know. No one knows. It's not going to be just um, you know it's just going to go good. Hopefully.
Yeah, for sure. So I noticed because I pay attention to all the stuff. Like I'm a fan of the sport as much as I am a fisherman of the sport. Um, I noticed that you made a change boat wise, like as far as boat size, and you know, I know for years you were running a little bit smaller than average, like a Crestliner and some of those. I
Hmm.
know you made a switch to Vexus this year, and your boat looks like a dang battleship.
Yeah,
Is it has that hindered you whatsoever as far as getting into places, or is it able to kind of get anywhere you want to anyway?
yeah. I mean, so that whole deal, Keith ran him the year before. I went with him to pick up his boat, and we kind of, I talked about that's what I was looking for, something, really wide boat that would float shallow, and it is. I mean, that new boat I have, it's it's 21 foot, but it is a tank. Like
Mhm.
it's nice and wide. It floats super shallow. This year I really tested it out. There was one of the tournaments I like jumped over this beaver dam, and I wasn't sure because it is such a big boat. I was thinking like, man, this thing, I might be stuck out here for days. Like, I mean, I don't even know how we would get it out of here.
Right,
And I was able to still get it, into some of those places. So I've been really impressed with it. And
right.
even on the redfish side, we're running the very similar hull, but it's a center console version. And man, that thing, I mean, when you see it on the water, you're like, wow, that is a big boat. But when we get up in the flats and stuff with a lot of those smaller skiffs, those guys are shocked how shallow we're actually floating in that big boat. So yeah, it's crazy. They did a really good job on them, and I mean, they both of them, the center console and the bass boat, being aluminum and so wide, they float extremely shallow.
Well, that's pretty cool. I know you're. Where were we at? Was it at? It was at Eufaula this year.
Hmm.
I had done a lot of map study, and I found this one little place that looked super sneaky, and I was like,
Yeah.
man, I'm gonna run, and it was kind of a run, and I
Yeah.
ran down there in practice, and and I'm easing into it, and I'm like, man, this looks good. Like
Yeah.
this looks right. It's going to be hard. You kind of have to maneuver around a bunch of stuff. And I before I even got into this area or got close to this area, I was laughing to myself. I was like, this is that John Cox kind of crap right here.
Yeah.
And I start to roll up in there, and then out from behind the bushes randomly, I just see John just like pop up in his little boat, and I'm like, son of a gun. Like I ran all the way down here, and he is definitely already rolled through this place.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
talked for a minute, and he trolled out of there. It wasn't easy, like just let's just like easily troll into something. It was kind of a booger to get into, but
Oh yeah.
I remember that, and I was like, gosh dang it. Like I just made this whole run to come down here to this thing, and he's already got it. And I should have known better. I was like, of course John would have this. And I remember you
Yeah.
telling me, you're like, man, there's a lot of fish in there. There's a lot of just keepers, but that's just what they are. It's just keepers. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. And the whole time I'm sitting there, I was like, yeah, it'd be cool to go up in there, And then I'm like, why the heck would I follow John Cox to a shallow water area? That's the stupidest thing I could do. So I just literally, I think you left. I stayed for like 5 minutes, didn't even go in there. And I
Yeah.
turned around and left too because I was like, I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. This is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
No,
too
but
funny.
that's one of my funny John Cox stories. I also, just to kind of take a little hard right turn here, obviously, I know one of your other passions is this. And that is being a Gator Wrangler. That's what I call you, at least, as a Gator Wrangler. But
Trying to be.
trying to be. So tell me about that process. So I kind of know how it works in Texas, how they catch, alligators and things like that. And like during their seasons and how they do everything. How is it different in Florida? Like, do y'all still catch them with a line, or do y'all just go find them and then hunt them down?
So I think there's a couple ways you can do it. I don't know if our way is the right way. I think a lot of the guys, use their electronics and stuff to, to find them and then get over top of them and snag them. But we've done it a couple different ways. We've tried to use this like floating beef lung,
Mhm.
and you set it out like on a big rod. And you strip off, you drop it wherever you think the alligator is or wherever you saw him go down. Strip off, 500 yards of line, and then you sit back and wait till that gator pops back up, and you can you try to get them to take that bait and let them swallow it. And there's like a wooden dowel in the beef lung, so if the wrong alligator swallows it, and you get him up to the boat, you can cut him. You can cut the line, and you can still pass the bait.
Gotcha.
And that's why you can't use like hooks on it or anything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean that's one of the ways. This year especially, the mosquitoes have been so bad, that even when you're covered from your whole body, arms and legs and everything are covered, they're still getting you like right around your eyes. And so we haven't done much baiting them like that. And the other way we do it is we hit them with our lights, and when you see them, run to them on plane, and right before they go down, cast a treble hook to them, on like a big, like we got these big pen reels that we use,
Mhm.
and cast them out there. And I think we have it on like maybe 60 or 80 pound braid. And yeah, you cast it over them. When you get close, you set the hook and you hang on. And we try to get more lines in them because it's crazy. There's those they're scoots, I guess, on the back or whatever they're called, are like little bones sticking up. So anytime that line or braid goes across it, it just cuts you off instantly.
Really?
And yeah, so you try to it's fun. A bunch, I go with my brother-in-law, father-in-law. Keith comes with us sometimes. It's just the wife came the other day. Like it is just, it's kind of cool to get everybody in the boat. We pile in that center console Vexus I have, and yeah, we just ride around and look for them. But I mean, everybody else has been tagging out. I still have both my tags. We've had a few small ones close to the boat that we let go. We've had one huge one that was like a dinosaur. It's probably the biggest one we've ever had. And it just, all craziness broke loose. It was middle of the night, just me and my brother-in-law. And when we got him up, he had a harpoon that was already broke off in him from a long time ago. And I'm like, man, this thing is a dinosaur. And like, I'm thinking like, man, we are going to get this thing. And man, last minute broke both lines, pulled our harpoon that we had in and out, and it got away, and it was just incredible. So we've been chasing that one gator now for a few weeks, and we haven't even gotten close again.
Have y'all seen it?
Oh yeah, yeah. We've seen, I mean, it's so much bigger than the other ones. When we had it hooked, and it's so old too. When we had it hooked, I was on the bow of the boat and I had him hooked somewhere in the head. Brother-in-law was in the back, had the tail hooked, and we couldn't see him. But he looked like as long as the like it was huge. And then my brother-in-law would pull his tail up, and his tail looked like it was like 8 foot long. And and then we only got like glimpses of him. We never saw the whole thing,
Oh my
because he was just
gosh.
so big. Like we had that tail up and that was the only thing I had the harpoon in, and we had a float on him, and it was nuts, man. It's been it's been making me want to get out there and try to get them, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
No, that's crazy. Those really
Yeah.
old ones like that trip me out. I know there's a lake over here by my house that has, or at least it did. One of the last times I went out there had the gators out there aren't like super long, but
Hmm.
they're just those big, look like cars. I mean,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
so big around, just like they
Yeah.
ate a horse or something
Yeah.
right before
Yeah.
you got there, kind
Yeah.
of gators.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always found gators very fascinating. I actually have a video that I honestly should have loaded. There was one that they had to remove over by my house,
Hmm.
and my dad was there. I wasn't there. My dad was helping like get it out of the water and everything. They'd already shot it and it was dead supposedly. And they drag it up with the tractor, and this gator goes whoop. Its head like completely wraps around to my dad's leg, like like it was alive, but it was like a
Oh yeah.
reflex.
Yeah.
And they have a video of it, and I'm like, oh, nope, I'm good. I
Yeah.
promise I'm good. I don't have no, I'm good. I don't have to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But we've always caught some. I mean, I know you probably have just as much as I have. You're out there fishing or something, and you're throwing a frog, and all of a sudden it just goes,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and it's an alligator.
Yeah.
And of course we set the hook on them and fight them until they break us off, or we break them off, or whatever we got
Right.
to do, because we're not
Right.
going to land a gator that's the size of the front deck of the boat.
No. No.
But no, so that was one of my favorite pictures of you, but this is easily my favorite picture of you. I gotta get the backstory on this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've never asked you in a million years what in the heck was going through your mind, but I gotta know. Like, what in the world? Just for anybody else that's wondering, here we go. Just one more time. Slick back John, huh? Oh my goodness. I think that's fantastic. No, but
What? When was it? I can't see it.
you can't see it? It's the
No.
one with you with the blonde hair that's like rolling over like this.
Oh God. I don't know. Oh man, if it was the
It's
blonde
like
hair,
it's split down the middle and you're just like rolled over on both sides. The
is it
blonde
fried?
locks.
Like, is it orange?
Oh yeah,
Oh
straight
yeah. So
orange.
that was Nan wanting to dye her hair, and I was like, no, no, no. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, our hair is going to turn orange, and like, you can't dye it. It's not going to go. And I was like, I was gonna cut my hair anyways because it was during COVID and it was growing out so much. So I was like, let's do my hair, and we did it, and it fried it. Like half of it fell out. Like it was bad, and it was right before one of the tournaments. And
Hmm.
I need to shave it, but I have time. And then I went to the tournament and did really well. So and I was like, oh man, I think I'm gonna have to ride with this for a little bit.
That
And then I kept
superstition
catching
stuff is
them.
a big deal. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I started catching them. I was like, I mean, every tournament I went to, I was like, top 20, and I was like, man, I'm not cutting this. I don't care how
yeah.
bad it looks. My wife hated it though. She was, I really, put her to the test on that one.
I feel as fishermen, we put our spouses to the test in just about all situations, whether it be our tackle hoarding, our fishing addictions, or our style of choice in that situation. So, I do or I don't envy her, but I do feel sorry for your wife to a certain
Yeah.
level, because I understand how that would have been a headache for sure. I mean, like, so what people don't know is John and I, we actually, it might have, was it the last year of FLW? It was the last year of FLW. Would come and room with us from time to time, and you never knew where he was going to room with us at. He would just show up and be like, "Oh, John's here."
Yeah. Yeah, because I never really plan anything. And it's like
No,
sometimes I'll make practice, sometimes I won't make practice because I'll be doing something else. And so yeah, I just kind of, just try to make it there before the before the tournament starts.
That actually that leads me to one of my favorite stories, and I would love for you to share with people because I think this is probably one of the coolest stories that I've ever heard, and that obviously we all know John Cox is a shallow water guy, right? Everybody knows this. He is that guy that's anti-transducer. I'm just kidding. It was just more of a joke there, but he just does what he does. He doesn't really let outside noise affect him. He's an angler like that. I remember being at Grand Lake. He roomed with us at Grand Lake, and this was years and years ago. Okay, and the water was cold and the
Mhm.
fishing was not very good.
Mhm.
Okay. And I remember a story that I heard, and I want you to share it about
Mhm.
you throwing your fritz side for the first time. That the cranking with it. Didn't you have to borrow them from like Reddington or something?
Yeah, yeah. So I borrowed. Yeah, so that tournament, it was super cold. We didn't have any idea,
Right.
what we were gonna do. And well, I mean, I wasn't getting any bites. I don't know. I felt like
Yeah.
no one was getting any bites. And so I just like picked this area where I was like, well, if it warms up, maybe they'll show up here. And I think the first day I caught a few or something, and I think I called him spinner baiting or something. But then I didn't have any. I didn't even have the fritz side yet. And I
Right.
think I got a couple off Tom, and man, it was like life change. Everyone that would bump that spinner bait, I went back and fritz sided them, same stuff, same cast, and man, I almost came back and won the tournament. Which is it was crazy, but um, yeah, that day that was unbelievable. That was a pretty crazy day, and then
But not even just that. What rod were you using on that
oh
that
yeah,
bait?
yeah,
That
and
was
now
what
you're
got
now
me
you're
because I was
refreshing it.
sitting there
Yeah, I'm
like,
I'm
what?
embarrassed to even talk about this. So
No, I think it's fantastic.
I didn't have a cranking rod. I had my spinnerbait rod, but it had 20-pound fluorocarbon on it, which I wasn't really a big fan of cranking with the line that heavy, or thinking that I thought it was too heavy. It just wouldn't go down as deep as I wanted it to, and so I ended up putting it on my swim jig rod. With some 30-pound braid. It was like a 7.6 medium heavy, and yeah, and I cranked them the rest of the tournament with straight braid, and I think I lost by like 2 pounds or 3 pounds. And now looking back, if I would have had my crankbait setup I have now, with some 15-pound fluorocarbon, I probably might have won that tournament.
No, I agree with that. I remember when you came in, like, yeah, because I remember the first day when you caught him. I
Oh
know where you caught him and all that, and you're like, yeah,
yeah,
like I just had this one little deal, and now it's gone, and I don't really
yeah.
have anything else, and it's kind of whatever. And you went out there and cranked them up, and I want to say that year you caught them cranking in so many places
Hmm.
with that same. Did you keep the swim jig rod with the braid, or did you actually start upgrading your equipment from there?
No, no, I changed right after that tournament, and went to a crankbait rod, and fluorocarbon, and I pretty much got the same setup Fritz was using, that he made for Abu Garcia,
Mhm.
with the Veritas and the slow reel ratio and all that, and then I think I went over to, I think I won, because that was towards the end of the year, I think, or
Right.
somewhere the
No, no,
following
it's
year, I think I
early.
won at Rayburn with it and stuff,
Yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna say. Is you actually won with it at Rayburn,
yeah, with
right?
the correct setup. Yeah,
With
with
the
the
correct setup
yeah,
though,
yeah.
and in such an unorthodox way, because like as somebody that fished Rayburn a lot, especially during that time, you didn't see a flat side style crankbait winning tournaments. Like it just
Right,
wasn't a thing. I
right.
mean, yes, you would see it, using it around, like throwing a lipless crankbait, chatterbait, whatever. It didn't matter,
Hmm.
but but you weren't just cranking grass. You were cranking like some bridges. You were kind of cranking a little bit of
Yeah,
everything, weren't you?
yeah. It was funny. I got to that tournament, and I had some squirrels got into my boat, and they ate all the wires. So like I missed all, but like maybe I missed almost all of practice. But the day Rob went with me, and we filmed like a practice day. It was like 6 hours. That was the only bit of practice I got. And so I was really fresh. So I just went out there. It was super cold. I was like, I'm just gonna, crank the entire tournament because I don't really know what else to do. And I was just bouncing around. I'd catch one off a bridge. I'd catch one off, a piece of wood. And I got to this area where I caught him flipping when we were there in an FLW. Um, Gosh, the one, what's his name, won. It was in the fall. It was in that area. It was all topped out hydrilla
Mhm.
then, and I was like, man, I really caught him good right out there. It was a little bit off the bank, and when I got to there, I threw my crankbait out there, or threw the fritz side out there, and caught one, and it came in. It had all the hydrilla on it. I was like, oh my gosh, there's still some out there, and man, and then I sat there and just hammered them like it was like the biggest school of fish coming through there, and I think it came through. And I caught them the one day, and then they were leaving the second day. I caught them on the way out, and then junk fished the rest of the tournament, but.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that was incredible. That was right before COVID when everything kind of shut down and stuff, and I mean, was super fortunate to be able to win that one.
No, that was one that I definitely always remember, and I know exactly where you were in that one. And
Mm,
that the area in which you were is a really, really good spot,
yeah,
a good area. I've spent a lot of time in that one, like about quarter mile square right there, and
yeah,
it's just always got a good population of fish in there. And some would consider it a community hole, but I just consider it a spot that I like to fish. So
yeah, right.
because it does have the right quality that swims through there quite often, so
Hmm.
it's definitely a little bit different. But man, that's all I had. I just wanted to really pick your brain a little bit, see how things were going with you. Obviously, share a few stories and look back at some of the great memories that we've had. I really, really appreciate you coming on today. And obviously, I know I'll see you down the road on the NPFL. So thank you again, John.
Hey man, thanks for having me on, man. It was good catching up, and hopefully next year will be a good year for us.
Absolutely. Well, guys, that's John Cox. Definitely a great angler. And probably, and I will honestly say this, he's probably one of the best, if not the best, shallow water anglers that I've had the pleasure of rooming with or being around. Just one of those gritty guys that's just gonna at any given time pick up a swim jig, pick up a crankbait, spinner bait, Cinco, whatever it may be, and catch a bass. He's definitely one of those people, and not to mention he might be, if not the very best sight fisherman that there is in this world. So, thank you, John, again. I think it was a great episode. I hope you learned a little bit more about John Cox as a person and not just as the fisherman. But next week, we have another great guest. And guys, until next time, I'll see you on the next episode.